Hello there, fellow gamers. My name is Ashes, and I welcome you all to the channel. Today we are playing Red Dead Redemption number 2, and this is another reading ASMR. So we're going to be continuing with Far Cry Absolution, and while we do some more reading, we're going to be heading out into the wilderness and setting up camp, sitting by the campfire and enjoying a peaceful night with some reading. So as we run here, make our way, I'm going to open my book. Okay, so where we left off last time, what's her name? Mary May found her brother, but turns out her brother was part of the cult, and he arrived in one of their trucks. So Mary May is a bit concerned now what's going to happen, and she's not sure if she is completely safe with her own brother, and it's quite sad to think about that. But we're going to see what's going to happen, and where are we now? That's it, yeah. So while that was happening, John had caught up with what's his name? Will, that's it. Caught up with Will, and he was congratulating him on dealing with Lonnie, who turned on Will. And turns out John was following Will and Lonnie, because John says he couldn't be sure whether he could trust either of them. But anyway, we're going to continue with Mary May and see what happens. So we're going to skip to setting up their campfire, and let's continue to read. Okay, so let's begin reading. She looked at Drew and waited on him to say something to her, but he never did. He just kept driving. They were heading down the mountain. All she could see when she looked out at the blur of forest as they passed it by was her own reflection staring darkly back at her. "Where have you been?" she said. He turned for a moment to look at her. He was now more man than he was boy, and she wondered briefly when and how that had come to be. "I've been here and there," he said. "Working, I guess, is what you might call it." She sat and stared at him. She was scared to ask. "Working?" she said. "They've been good to me up here." "That right?" "That's right." He glanced her way again, then put his eyes back on the road. "You don't trust them, do you?" "We were raised not to, and some would say a good reason to." "You're talking about Daddy and Mama, aren't you?" "Who else?" she said. "John and them have been scaring off distributors. They've been trying to shut us down." You still selling alcohol? Not much of a bar without it. There's reasons for what they do. There's good reasons. She shook her head. You sound just like them. There's good reasons for that too, he said. They had come down the mountain about 5 miles, and he turned the wheel. The truck tyres came off the pavements, and she could hear the gravel beneath the tyres and small rocks hitting in the wheel wells. What's this? She said. You said you'd take us home. He looked over at her but did not say anything. She leaned forward now and peered ahead, trying to decipher their route from the darkness. I said I'd take you home, he said. I didn't mean your home, or Mama's or Daddy's. Up ahead, she could see cement blocks to either side of the road and the gate there. The gate now opening to take them in. Church members waited on either side, and she could see the guns they carried and the eyes they laid upon her as they passed. She sat there watching them as they went, and as Drew brought the truck forward, she turned and saw the same gate close behind her. Drew, she said, don't you worry. She reached behind her and brought up the .38, holding it at her side just out of sight. She could see buildings now and lights, and the spire of a church outside. The night seemed to grow darker as they drove. The lake there only distinguished from the night by the reflection of their headlights. She could tell beyond the buildings and the church the land was a mix of trees and grass that came up from the lakeshore and rose toward the mountains. Drew pulled the truck around and brought it to a stop. He leaned forward and brought the transmission into park. Then he took the keys. The engine stopped working, and for a moment she felt very alone there in the truck, as if her brother was not there, and she had been left now completely on her own. Is that Daddy's 38? Drew asked. He turned now and looked to where she held a gun. Then he looked to see what she would say. It's his. I wondered if he still had it. You wondered? I just thought about it sometimes. I've thought about a lot of things while I've been up here. I wish Daddy would have found you, she said. I wish he'd had a chance to talk to you. You think it would have changed some things? I think it would have. I wish you two could have worked it out. He never really gave me much of any kind of chance, Drew said. You know that just as well as me. She studied his face in profile. He was stubborn, but it didn't mean he didn't care. I get it, Drew said. Look, they put this place aside for you. He nodded toward the little house that sat before them. You'll be able to shower. You'll be able to rest. I'm sure you're tired. I'm sure you could use a little time. Time for what? I never asked to come here. I don't want to be here. I want you to take me home. Not here, but home. Our home. There's people who want to meet you, Mary May. You understand you are a guest. They only want to talk to you. They can come into the bar if that's what they want, she said. We're open every day from noon to 2. You know what I mean, he said. I don't want you being rude. She gave her brother a hard stare. You know they shot at me. You know they shot at me just this afternoon. I think that was just a misunderstanding, Drew said. They're good folk up here. You'll see. She didn't take her eyes off him. Look, he said. Don't shoot no one. They want to talk to you. That's not going to hurt you, none. And when it's all done, you'll go back to Falls End and your bar. And you? What about me? You should come back to town with me, Drew. That's what Daddy and Mama would have wanted. That's kind of you to say, but you and I both know there's not much truth in that. Okay, folks, so I'm gonna stop the reading here. I enjoyed that one. Well, I enjoy all of them, but I don't know, I felt more relaxed in this one. And I was trying to work on the impressions of each character, try to get unique voices for each character. I don't know how well that went, but I mean, I enjoyed trying anyway. But anyway, I'm gonna let the video play out now. It's gonna be a minute or so, and then it'll end. But I hope you all enjoyed this video. Until next time, take it easy, and I'll see you all in the next one.
Good girl. Got an appetite. Made it this far, eh, girl?